Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Shade of It
The
All.
shade of it all. Welcome back, everyone.
Hey, hey, I'm Brandon.
I'm Maggie Magdala.
One day you'll commit
One day I'll
to
commit to a name. I
to a
don't know
name.
what
Because if you
I
call her either one, she'll come up with a reason why she doesn't like it.
want. That's so funny because you call me Maggie and I told Jen to call me Magdala. And so I'm gonna have to address this eventually.
Oh yeah. Because yeah, I think I called her you Maggie to her today.
You did. And she's probably like, that girl told me to call her Magdala.
By her government name.
A government.
Today is Sunday. Maggie and I hung out earlier because we had F45 training today. Because Maggie has officially made me into a fitness guru.
Yes.
I'm swole. If you're watching the YouTube, you probably
Look
can't
at
see
Brandon's
anything.
muscles.
There's
Yes.
not much definition,
No,
but I do feel something.
no,
There's something.
honestly, we should both take some before and after pictures or before pictures this week and take some after ones in like June because we're gonna look amazing. Brandon drank the
I'm
Kool-Aid.
down.
He is an F45 member now. I've been a member for like a month. I loved it. He's hooked. It's great. And it's so much fun going to the gym with a friend. It's way better.
It is
Got some
because
accountability.
you get accountability. You have the comfort. Oh my God, I can't speak today. It's late, y'all. The comfortability of having a
Mm-hmm.
close friend. And the trainers
Mm-hmm.
are cool too, because they help a lot with
They're
like
literally so
form and
nice.
stuff. Because my worst
Yeah.
thing is balance and form. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's getting a
Brandon,
little better.
it's getting a lot better, Brandon. Give yourself some credit. Brandon's back, like, so F40, Brandon's back. F45 is like it's low key, like, kind of, I want to say it's like CrossFit adjacent, just not as crazy as CrossFit,
Yeah, we're
but
not
you're
like
like,
shoving tires or
we're not
anything like
shoving
that.
tires. We're not lifting like 100 pounds over our heads, but we are lifting heavy. We are doing some like total body strength training. And so Brandon's like getting used to it. So like this week, they were like making sure that he kept his back straight and stuff. And I'm like, help my friend. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
He needs help. Help his soul.
And not that I'm like some kind of professional. I just worked with a trainer for a long time, like one on one. So like
Yeah,
I have the technique down or whatever. But I like F45. It really challenges us. We're gonna look great. We're gonna look
we
amazing. I'm
are.
excited. I'm here for it. I already lost 10 pounds.
And look at you go.
Meeting goals this year. 2024 is my year.
Yes,
I'm claiming it. Anyway.
I agree. Same.
How are you doing though, Brandon?
I'm good. This week was okay. I started at 45, which was nice, but then month end close started on Friday, and that wasn't so nice. That
The
wasn't fun at
accounting
all.
life. The
Y-
accounting life.
Yes, the accounting life, the insanely incredible and exciting and ever-changing, keeps you on your toes accounting life is
Hmm.
truly the funnest that ever was. The life that Maggie gave up in college
I
and that
gave
we
it
were
up very
supposed to be
quickly.
together in. But it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
But it's okay. Maggie, how are you?
I'm actually really good. I decided to neglect all of my responsibilities this week, which felt great.
Sometimes
Like
you have to do that.
literally, like I just did spent time this week doing things that I like going to the gym, watching TV shows. Avatar: The Last Airbender is streaming on
Mhm.
Netflix. I'm obsessed. I like explained this to Brandon, and Brandon's like, I already know you have an obsessive personality. I was like, I'm watching Avatar. He's like, Avatar question mark, and I'm like, Brandon, you need to know it's the
Well,
last
I knew
Airbender.
I was like airbender or like way of water. Like, I don't know. It
Literally,
could go either way with you.
it was a completely valid question. I just was like, of course it's the last
Why
Airbender.
would it not be the last airbender,
That's the
Brandon?
only Avatar we really like. That's like am literally obsessed with the show. I watched the regular show probably 5 times, like the whole season 5 times.
It was
It's
like a
like
Nickelodeon, right?
it was a Nickelodeon show and it was streaming on Netflix a couple years ago. They brought it back and now they're doing the live action. So I spent time watching that, just hanging out. I didn't do a lot of schoolwork this week, which was actually very restful for me. So I took a break, gonna get back into it, but I feel rested. Your girl is rested right now.
I love
Rest and
that.
refreshed. Yes.
Yes. I will say, not to bring it back to a place of F45, but since working out, I just feel so good. And I
Really?
feel like healthy and like I'm actually
Yeah.
like I was able to fall asleep pretty easily last night.
It's crazy how small things will change, but it does change a lot. Yeah.
Because
I
I don't fall
actually,
asleep easily.
yeah, Brendan was, we talked about this, I think our first or second episode, your
Uh,
sleep and your health overall. But that's actually funny. I noticed that too. For the last couple of weeks, I was only able to sleep for 6 hours. And this past week, I got 8 hours a couple times. And
mm,
that's because I added a couple of classes this week. So I know it definitely does something. And I'm changing up my diet. I don't know if you noticed, the F45 app has some like meals on it.
it
Obi and I
does.
are picking some out to try this week. I'm excited about it. Like all this stuff is coming together. It feels good.
We're just like evolving.
We're just evolving and
We're just
growing.
better than all of you. Like that's the thing. Just kidding. We're dying on the inside.
We're doing like bare Loki. We're doing like bare minimum evolution. Like we're
It's a
going to the
lot
gym
for
and
us.
eating better.
It's a lot
It
for
is.
us.
It is. It means a lot. Other people are like starting businesses and stuff, and we're like, I ate good this week and I slept well.
Look at us
Amazing.
go. We did a
Yes.
squat.
That's so funny.
Uh,
Yes.
we were talking earlier though, because after the class we went to eat breakfast, brunch, I guess, at
Mm-hmm.
First Watch, which was really good. But we were
So
trying to talk
nice.
about what are we going to talk about? Is there any like pop culture moments?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there isn't really. I don't know. I didn't see
No.
anything. But one
We
thing
got
in
some takes
particular,
on some stuff. Yeah.
today, it won't be by the time this episode airs, but today when we record, Sunday, March 3rd, marks the 1 year anniversary of Scandoval, which was a
Scandoval.
phenomenon that took over the world. It
Mm-hmm.
truly changed and everything. I don't think I've been the same since it happened. I know where I was. I
It
know
just
where I was.
changed my life. It changed America. It changed culture.
It was, I think, a Friday. It was March 3rd. It was day 3 of close, which is my slow day.
Mm-hmm.
It's my longest because we have to stay long because like the team, you like stay online with the team. But as far as task wise, it's a very slow day. So I'm often like on my phone, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
scrolling through Twitter. And I had noticed someone tweeted like Ariana deactivated her Twitter. And it was just like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then I
She all
think,
right?
is she okay? And then
Mm-hmm.
someone I think noticed she deleted pictures of Tom. And it
Oof.
was like, ooh, what's happening? And then some
Yeah.
friend of hers made like a long tweet, like, Ariana's the best person in the world. Like, she's the greatest. And it was just like, what happened? And then
Yeah.
that's when I think it was around 2:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Wow.
It
The
dropped
news
on
broke.
TMZ. Tom and Ariana have split due to an affair with Raquel Levis.
Oh my gosh.
It was so it was so shocking.
I
It
sure
was
shocking.
it was just so shocking. It was so shocking for so many reasons. You know, Ariana and Tom had been together for 9 years. They had a
Mm-hmm.
house. So that
Mm-hmm.
part's shocking. The fact that it's Raquel who's friends with Ariana,
Best
despite
friends.
best friends, and like despite her saying they weren't best friends, they were close on the show at least. And Ariana
Yeah.
always had her back when the other girls were mean to her, which is
Mm-hmm.
why it made it more fucked up that she fucked her man for 7 months. But anyways, so everything was just shocking. And then it was
Mm-hmm.
confirmed because people from the cast were like posting about it on social media and about how
Mm-hmm.
cameras picked back up. And then I truly think there was like some like ripple effect or some tear in the world and the atmosphere at that moment because
Yeah.
everything just changed.
I think that so we've been listening to Tom Brandon more than myself because Vanderpump Rules is back on. I haven't started watching yet,
Hmm.
but I saw an interview that he did with The
Is
guy
it?
from Special Forces?
Oh, Nick Vile, the
Nick
Vile
Vial,
Files.
the Vial Files. He was on there. And the other Tom Schwartz was like, it was the most streamed or the most viewed season of their show. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think it had some like reality TV records hit for how many people watched that season of Vanderpump Rules just because of what happened, myself included. Never heard, well, I've heard about some of these people. I've heard of Lisa Vanderpump, but I didn't really care. And then when
Hmm.
Brandon just described what happened, I watched the reunion. I watched the episodes up leading up to the reunion. I was like, I need to know. So yeah, the whole scandal was crazy. And I even listened to Ariana's podcast. Brandon bought Ariana's merch. Like they
I
broke the
did.
internet. They broke the internet.
They really did. I think they got for the finale 1.8 million live viewers or
That's
something like that, which
insane.
is like insane for live television, like on Bravo and all that. And then add on all
Yeah,
the streams. It's just insane.
that's
So,
crazy.
with that being said, a year since Scandoval, I think is
Yeah.
truly monumental. And it's just something that should be acknowledged at this moment. We should raise our glasses high. This one's for you tonight.
You're literally a mess. The rest of America is like, it's March 3rd. Let's move
Right?
on
They're
with our
like,
life.
shut the fuck up. No one
And we're like,
cares.
March 3rd.
And
It's
I
such
would,
an intense day.
it was the worst day ever.
On
Um,
October 3rd, he asked me what day it was. It's
it was
October
October
3rd.
3rd. Um, I will say just to wrap this up, 1 year later, and Tom Sandoval is still the same person he always was, and saying
Hmm.
embarrassing and offensive things. And Ariana's starring on Broadway, and her stint was extended a week.
We
So
love it. We love it for her.
we
He
do.
is who we thought he was, unfortunately. It's so funny because I watched Special Forces. I really thought I just liked the show. He got like I guess technically eliminated for being a crybaby.
Oh yeah,
The instructors were essentially like, yeah, because okay, so they had this like final test and they put them in this very like extraneous environment. And I think he was standing in the cold and he had headphones on and he had to listen to like, like terrible audio, like white noises, people screaming and stuff. Anybody would, hate it. But
yeah.
he was like shivering and shaking and they're like, let's check on him. As soon as he came into the warmth, dude was fine. Like,
That's
and they're like,
Sandoval.
and they're basically like, he's kind of like exaggerating. He's not showing any kind of mental toughness here. And so it really plays into the fact that he's kind of always playing the victim. He's never taking responsibility for anything. Everything is always somebody else's fault and he wants people to acknowledge some kind of level of growth in him without putting in any effort to grow. So, and I know this and I'm not even paying attention just from what I've seen, especially from the Vile Files interview. I was like, you're literally a fool. This is
Just wait
crazy.
until you start this new season
I'm
because
I'm
it's
excited.
not the best. It's a
Yeah.
little boring. It's very forced. Like they're
Yeah.
trying to give Sandoval like a redemption season,
Mm-mm.
but I think I heard someone talk about it on some podcast. They're like, but they didn't ask Sandoval if he was willing to act redeemable. They were
Mm.
just like, we're gonna give it to him, whether he likes it or not. But then he's still
Yeah.
him, so it's not really happening.
That's not gonna help anything.
But
Yeah.
you
You
know, it
can't
is
help
what it
someone who
is.
doesn't want to be helped.
This is very true. Ain't that the
So,
truth?
ain't that the truth? And we saw that low key in Love is Blind a little bit.
We saw a lot in Love is Blind, yet so little. Um, that brings us to the main event. You know, our Love is Blind saga is over soon because after this week, it's like what the episode 12, which is the weddings, and then the reunion.
Hmm.
So it's coming to a close.
It's coming to a close. It's going to be over very soon. These episodes were a little dry on the dry side.
A little bit. They weren't the best episodes in the world, and they were very long,
Yeah.
but it's
Yes.
okay.
It's okay. We can unpack a little bit from
Yes.
these. Well, let's start with Kenneth and Brittany. They're nowhere to be seen or
I was about
found.
to say, I was like,
It's
I was like,
officially done.
I
It's done.
remember they weren't in that, so I was confused for a second. I was like,
No, like they didn't even have a conversation with anybody, didn't go to the group gathering. So Kenneth and Brittany, I think it's safe to say they're done. If
that
we
was
see Kenneth,
shocking that they weren't at the group gathering, like
yeah,
either
I
of
agree.
them.
I agree. Yeah, at least go to that. But nope, they're done. If Kenneth goes to is at the reunion, I will be surprised. I kind of feel like he has to since he did choose someone to propose to, but I don't think he's gonna give us a whole lot.
Do they like bring everyone that like we followed after the pods to the reunion?
For the most part. So
Okay.
I think contractually, the people who get engaged have to go.
Yeah.
But some of the other people on the side, like Sarah Ann, I don't think she's obligated to go. She may not show up.
I feel like she
Um,
will. I think.
Matthew may not show up. So like people who
Oh,
we
he
may want
won't.
to hear, yeah, people who we may want to hear from may not come. Like,
Yeah. Well,
so
I just
it's
don't know
kind of
what
a,
Matthew would say. But Sarah Ann, she
yeah,
definitely has got to come because, like,
yeah.
especially her role in this episode.
I agree. I agree. You want to start with them? Let's start with Laura, Sarah Ann,
And
and Jeremy
Jeremy.
with,
Jeremy.
with an A. Jeremy with an A. So essentially, from this episode, we start with them, and Jeremy is having a conversation with his mom
Where he's not being honest.
at all, and his mom still sees through the BS. She's like, I can't specifically quote what she said, but everything she said was gold. I loved his mom in that moment.
She was just basically like, sure, hun. But, I would have loved to have met her. So you talked to this girl, Sarah Ann, for a
Yeah.
long time. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and she got mad at me for some reason, and I don't know why. You're
He was
leaving
like,
out the part, sir, where you lied about where you were.
you lied about where you were. He said he mentioned the 5 a.m. thing, and she was like, I'm glad that wasn't me, or something to the
Oh
effect of
yeah, that
like,
is
she
what
would
it
have set him
was.
straight. And so she was completely on Laura's side, which I like love. Like, I love when we can see people hold these guys accountable to something. Like, you need people in your life who are going to support you and love you regardless, but you also need people who are going to tell you about yourself. And his mom was not playing around. And she
She
was
was
like, yeah,
not.
I guess I'm not getting a daughter-in-law. She was like, okay.
Well, maybe Sarah Ann will show up. Just like she showed up at the barbecue.
At the barbecue, yeah. So
With
we'll keep going. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna
With
say
what?
with the most hideous pants I think I've ever seen in my life. They were like,
I didn't notice.
it was like white, like maybe almost linen, but they had a slit all the way up to where it was basically just flappy and like
That's
shorts.
so funny.
It was so bad.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's kind of where we go next. I can't remember if there is a side conversation where Laura is debriefing or Jeremy is debriefing with anybody.
I
Maybe
think
there
Laura's
was.
talking to the girls, just basically telling them that Jeremy
No, I mean
sucks.
before the
Oh,
picnic
I don't
thing.
think so.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with
Yes.
it, they're just at the barbecue, and Laura's just talking to the girls, just like, he can kick rocks with open-toed shoes. Fuck him. Da 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 da. He took a vow to protect my heart, and he did not protect my
Mm,
heart in any way. And it's like, you're right.
yeah, you're right.
And
It's
then
valid. And the
Jeremy's
girls are all there like with the tea. They're like, "Oh,
right.
tell what happened. And she's like, "Well, tell me what you heard." Laura's like all for it. She just wants to gab with the girls, which I love. And then
She
yeah, Jeremy
does.
comes in.
And he's like talking to who is it? He's talking to like Jimmy and who else? Oh, Johnny.
Johnny, yeah.
And he just basically is telling them what happened, and they're looking at him like, yeah, totally. Like he's like, I just don't.
Yeah.
She said, because it was the text he was hung up on was the fact that Sarah or that Laura was like, it's crazy that I changed your name from fiance
Mm-hmm.
to just Jeremy in my phone. And he's like, why would I ever want to fight for something like that? And they're just
Yeah, he
like,
was he
yeah.
was he was kind of like throwing a pity party a little bit. Like he was upset because he wanted to send Laura flowers and was asking for her address and stuff, and she just wasn't cooperating with him. She was pissed. And I
Yeah.
guess they hadn't spoken for a couple of days, but his attempt of like I guess he wanted to build a bridge and make peace, but she was like texting him, I guess to him, mean messages that he did not like. And that made him feel like, okay, this isn't worth fighting for.
Yeah. And it was funny because then I think Trevor shows up. Oh, God.
Hmm.
And then he like gets up to hug Trevor, and Jimmy and Johnny are just like, I don't want to be a part of this at all. And I'm
They're
like,
both like, gosh,
smart move.
literally, they're both like, can we leave, please? So, so I guess that's the first. I actually wanted to ask you, what do you think? So, Laura was engaged to him.
Hmm.
He betrays her. She is hurt. He's reaching out. She doesn't want to really engage with him. She wants to like she's saying some things that are not nice. Like I mean, we only really know that the whole, you changed your name, I changed my name on my phone and that's crazy. But like I don't really feel like Jeremy's justified. Like I don't know if you could be mad at the girl for being upset. I don't know how obscene she was being, but it's kind of like a mixed bag here.
I think he's trying to rewrite history and
Hmm.
take a chance that they're not going to show him lying on the show
Yeah.
because he's leaving that part of the story out to
Yeah.
everyone. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, I think he's just trying to justify and like give a reason as to why they won't work out. But
Hmm.
I think Laura's just made it clear that we broke up and I don't want anything to do with you. But
Yeah.
he's
She's like,
trying to take his part in it back and be like,
hmm.
well, I don't want to fight for you anyways. But she doesn't
Yeah.
want him to fight. She doesn't want anything to do with him.
Yeah, that's true. It looks like Laura was done from the whole like because essentially he said that they stayed in the parking lot and we come to find that they didn't. He drove her home.
Yeah.
And maybe things happened, but they both attest to nothing have happened. But I agree with you. Yeah, I think like Laura was just done, and I think Jeremy's trying to create a narrative where he looks like a better guy. Like I don't really think I think her feelings are 100% valid. Granted, I didn't see what she said, but yeah, that's how I see it.
Well, my thing too is just like, if you just drove her home, then why didn't you say that?
Exactly. Why did you have to lie about that part? Because
Yeah.
you probably knew it would make her upset. Maybe you're trying to spare her feelings, but this whole like, you were transparent about what Sarah Ann had texted you, but you weren't transparent about what happened that night, and you didn't consider the fact that staying out until 5 a.m. may make your new fiance a little wary of you. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that that's so bad of her. But yeah, he's not really receiving it. He hasn't mentioned it at all that he lied.
No, he hasn't. And then
Yeah.
they have their little sit down where she just reams him out and like cusses him out. And I'm glad she didn't back down because he was like, you sent me the rudest text. And she's like, I said no, thank you. And he's like, no, you didn't. She's like, pull out the fucking text message. I'm sick of this shit. And I'm like, ooh,
She wasn't playing around.
she
Laura was like, I
wasn't.
come for receipts. She's not she showed him she's not one to play with. He low-key even before speaking to her said something like, I'm scared to talk to her. And it's like, yeah, as you should be. Laura's gonna get you all the way together, Jeremy. The only thing you should be saying is, I'm sorry. And that's it.
But
In Laura's
honestly,
eyes.
and then also he packed her stuff. I would have flipped out
Yeah,
if he
that pissed
like
her off too.
touched my stuff and like
Yeah,
packed it up. It's like, what do you mean?
she wasn't happy. So
Unless
she has a
I don't
oh, go
know.
ahead.
Well, I was just gonna
Unless
say
what?
unless how much stuff was it? Because if it was just a little bit, then whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that was another low-key lie because he tried to make it seem like, "Oh, I was gonna fight for us. I was gonna fight for this." And she's like, "Whatever, I'll come get my stuff." And he's like, "It's already packed." Okay, so are you trying to fight for us or did you pack all my stuff up? Make it make sense. And why would you pack her stuff?
Jeremy, not only have you lied about the correct way to spell your name, you've lied about love.
Oh
In this case,
gosh.
love is not blind. It's a lie.
Love is not
Um,
blind. It's a lie, man. It's a lie.
but the Jolene Sarah Ann
Sarah
comes into the
Ann.
barbecue with
She
her
does.
her Target outfit. That was a Target outfit. Those pants and that top and the shoes, those were Target. And
I didn't
she's
even notice.
at first it was just like nice, and I think even Laura was trying to avoid her and was just like, "Hey y'all," but then AD and her start talking.
Yeah. So AD pulls her aside. And it's funny because I love AD. I
I
think
do
we've
too.
we've made it known. We love her.
Yeah,
But I think it's funny because in that moment I couldn't tell if she was being a friend or if she was whatever. Like how she approached the conversation was very respectful and like
yeah,
pretty much created a safe space for Sarah Ann to talk. And then she was like, "But no, you're wrong." And this is okay, not like that, but like that's pretty much how it happened. So AD is talking to Sarah Ann and she pretty much asks her to unpack what happened. And she's like, "So what, like, did he leave the door open?" Like, and Sarah Ann is essentially saying, like, she felt like Jeremy left the door open and that's why she sent the text, which I thought was weird. I was like, how did he leave the door open when he didn't propose to you?
yeah. Because her thing was just like in the answer in the pods, his reason for not picking was just like that it was a feeling, and it's like,
Yeah,
well, yeah. He
yeah,
felt more for Laura and
yeah,
not for you. So he
exactly.
picked Laura.
Laura.
And and I think with AG, she was trying to like open the door to like give Sarah Ann like the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Yeah,
was he misleading? Were you under this impression? What made you
yeah,
send this message? Because the thing
yeah,
with Sarah Ann is, I don't think it was weird that she sent a message. It was weird that she ended the message with, if anything happens, then like let me
yeah,
know, knowing that
yeah,
they were engaged. And that's what
yeah.
AD was trying to get at. Just like, that's crazy that you would
That is
send that.
crazy. That
And then
is.
Sarah Ann
Yeah.
was just like, no, it's not, because with this experiment and this experience, like it's totally normal and da da
Yeah.
da da. And she's like, but
Yeah.
you're sending that to an engaged man, and like, you know, the girl, like you're supposed to kind of be friendly with her.
Literally. Yeah, Sarah Ann was like kind of taking it like they were just dating or something. She pretty much was like, "Well, I didn't fight for him. I didn't say everything I wanted to say, and so I wanted to stay in contact." And she felt justified. She's like, "I'm not gonna apologize." And I just think that is crazy. Like, a man is taken. A man has chosen somebody else. You should not be messaging that person. And you probably watched this show, Sarah Ann. There's gonna be a time where you guys can come together and talk. You didn't need to send him a message and like keep the door open in that way. That is messy on her part because they were gonna see each other regardless.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
part. And it's just like, so that kind of escalated. She ends up walking away crying. And she's like,
Yeah.
Jeremy, this is fucking bullshit. They're trying to make me out to be like this bitch whore. And it's just like, I'm not. And da 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 da. And he's like,
He's like,
absolutely not. Your message was fine.
your message was fine. You're perfect, Sarah Ann. We're both messy and we both don't hold ourselves accountable. And he was like, "Oh, I think it's obvious I made the wrong choice." Like, boy, bye. Have her.
And
Have
she's like,
her.
oh, wow. Do you want to ride the jet skis?
Yeah, he's like, "Let's go ride some jet skis." And I was like, that's also kind of crazy. You guys are literally in company of somebody he just left a relationship with. Leave together. But you're gonna like get on jet skis and hang out in front of everybody? Like low key, it's giving like Tom and Raquel. Like
No,
it's
it
you know what I mean?
is.
It's really like, okay, we're both wrong. Well, if we don't think we're wrong, so we're just gonna hang out and enjoy each other's company.
But honestly, and it's crazy too, because I feel like there was many opportunities where they could have like it could have not been a big deal. Like
Oh
had he
yeah.
just been honest about like where
Yeah.
he was,
Yeah.
then it would have been like, okay, annoying that they talked, but like
Yeah.
it could have been more believable that they just talked.
Yeah.
But now that they were just like he was being sketchy and then she was being like weird, I
Yeah.
don't know. So,
Yeah. And Sarah Ann claims that on the night they spoke, Jeremy said he was gonna break things off with Laura.
oh yeah,
And
she
that's what
did say
Sarah Ann
that.
said.
Hmm.
So now I am thinking that they are both lying and they definitely slept together.
Something must have happened
Because why
because,
would he lie? If you just drove her home, why would you lie?
right? And then it's
I mean, it is
like,
sketchy, but still.
yeah, it's just also up till 5 a.m. I couldn't imagine. Like, what are we
I can't.
doing?
Literally. I think I can't remember how old they are, but yeah, that's just
I think they're in
crazy.
their 30s.
Yeah,
At
that's just
least
wild.
Jeremy. I don't
And
know.
it's also like, what you guys to talk about for so long?
Honestly, like, what are
What
you
was there to
saying?
talk about? What are you saying? for that long that you couldn't have just spoken at the club. Like, girl, get a ride home with your friends. I don't know. Maybe I'm just mean, but I don't think it was justified.
I think you're just normal. Um,
That
but yeah, so that was pretty much them because Laura
was
ended
pretty
up
much them.
crying. I felt bad.
Yeah, I felt bad. It was funny because it's like she's so angry. I feel like she just has this guard up. She's trying to like
Hmm.
protect herself, but she is heartbroken. And her way of like processing or her way of getting back is by saying mean things and saying what's honestly, it's not mean, it's honest,
Yeah,
brutally honest to him. And when she started crying, I was like, dang, like all this, but like she really did want to marry this guy. She really did think she found the love of her life, and that's unfortunate for her that it didn't happen the way she wanted it to. So that's
just very
essentially it for
sad.
them.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Um, One couple that maybe we can just get out of the way, Amy and Johnny. I skipped through their scenes.
Yeah, Amy and Johnny are two peas in a pod. Essentially all we saw was them coexisting and living life together. Amy's dad gave Johnny his blessing.
Oh, that's good.
Um, Amy's mom was there for the dress fitting, and both of her parents kind of echoed the same thing that they really like are proud of her. They love who she is as a person. She's a gem. We can see that. The other couples think they're cute. Even Chelsea thinks they're the best couple, which we could talk about a little more later if you want to.
Which, you know, all throughout, I have a theory. Chelsea is perceived to be the most insecure, but I think Jimmy's just as insecure. He's just better at hiding it. Um,
Hmm. That's not a bad thought. That's not a bad thought.
Maybe not as insecure, but he is insecure.
Well, okay, we will talk about it because
We'll
we're
get
always
to
torn
it.
on this. We're always torn on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, Amy and Johnny are great. They haven't had any problems that we can see. He figured out that a vasectomy is a very invasive procedure, and she's deciding to get on birth controls, or she's thinking about it to get on birth control. So
They've discovered
that issue.
condoms.
Yeah, it's
Just kidding.
stupid. It's so stupid. Literally, when Jeremy Johnny is talking about like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that a vasectomy was so invasive. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's like, and he's like, and reversing it is hard too. Like, you're literally gonna go under the knife when you could just use regular protection that doesn't involve chemically changing things inside of your body.
I think they're going to be the only ones that actually get married. And that's just my prediction.
Really? I think a few more people will get married, but I think that they will definitely stay married. If something happens to
Yeah.
Johnny and Amy, I'll be very surprised. But, that's the downside of not seeing anybody go through, like, have arguments and stuff in this process because we don't really get to see, like, how they endure and how they, like, go through trials together. So
Yeah. We
that's
need a
Amy and Johnny.
24/7 surveillance on these couples for the next year.
Literally to see what happens. It's funny because typically with Love is Blind, by the time the reunion is shot, it's been a while. It should be about like a year.
Yeah,
So we'll see where they're at when that comes out. But yeah, Amy
we
and Johnny
shall.
are good to go.
Yes.
Um,
Let's do AD and Clay because I feel like we should end with Jimmy and Chelsea.
okay, that's fine. AD and Clay. So the first thing that we see is AD meeting, or I mean Clay meeting AD's mom.
I love AD's mom.
AD's mom is amazing.
She's so cool.
She's
Like,
so stinking cool, and we kind of see where AD gets it from.
yes.
Smart.
And I will say it was one of the more like insightful like parts of the show. Like I just felt like she
Hmm.
gave great advice.
Great
It was
advice.
authentic. It was just a good moment.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like, I was like, are you therapist? Like, she literally said kind of what Clay needed to hear, didn't hear it, but said what Clay needed to hear. So essentially, Clay is just like, I don't know why, telling AD's mom that he's afraid of marriage because he saw his mom cheat on, or his dad cheat on his mom, and that made him scared. And she's literally like, but why? What does that have to do with you? Like your
Right?
parents were married for 24 years. They had a good marriage. Like why is the infidelity something that you're like taking on? And it
Yeah.
was like and he's just looking at her like That's a good question.
he didn't like the truth that was being said.
You don't
This
think so?
I think
I
a
thought he was
Clay is
receptive.
just so hard to read. Like
Yeah, he
I think
is.
I was talking to Gia about this. He's like a salesman. So it's just like he gives the
Yeah.
very like he knows what to say and what people want to
Yeah.
hear. And then
Yeah.
he's just that like, yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah. He's like that guy
Yeah.
that just keeps repeating, yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
just has that smile. I'm just like, are you taking this in? Like, are
Yeah.
you actually taking this in? Or,
Yeah. Because I think actually Clay, out of the guys, I think Clay is more insecure because he's always second guessing
oh,
himself.
yeah.
Like after this conversation, I guess they were watching previous Love is Blind seasons together.
Oh, yeah.
And he essentially said, like, those husbands were just so, they said all the right things. They did all the right things. And I don't say all the right things or do all the right things. And I'm like, literally, Clay, exist. Like there's nothing wrong with what you're doing right now. Like they're just
Right.
talking. I think he feels like being a husband is this like incredible scary thing and this incredibly hard scary thing that he can't do. And I don't really get I mean maybe because of his dad, but I don't really get why. Like he's putting these expectations in his head, like, oh, those guys are husbands, not me. And it's like, why not you? You
Yeah.
know? And so I think Clay is actually the most insecure guy because just how second guesses himself and is like afraid of so much instead of just embracing the fact that he loves this girl and they can be in a relationship together. Like that's I mean it's I'm sure I think he's like maybe worried about making a mistake, but I don't know.
Yeah, which is like normal, but it's just like relax. Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
will say I love AD, but it's just it's funny seeing the parallel because you have Clay being like, I just really hope I don't cheat. Da 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 da. And then you have AD crying to her mom, I would jump off a plane for him. Like, I love him.
I love him. I
And
love
I'm like,
him as he is.
AD.
Hmm.
I will
And then
say too. Oh no, you
okay.
too.
No, no, go ahead.
Oh, but because I was rewatching a little bit because I was trying to find a clip for TikTok, and was he was like talking to her. I think it was when they were still in the Dominican Republic, and
Hmm.
it was just like he kept saying like, "I want to do this for you. Like I know you
Yeah.
want this." And if
Yeah.
I was AD, I would be like, "But I don't want you to just do it because I want it. Like you're supposed to want it too. Like you're on
Yeah.
this show for a reason."
Right. Like, I
So,
wonder if she realizes how unsure of himself he is. And I think what she's holding on to is that she knows that he has the characteristics and the qualities of a strong man who could lead a family. I think he does. He just
hmm,
doesn't know he does. And
yeah,
that's the disconnect. And I feel like she doesn't really see that like how unsure he is of everything and how afraid he is of everything. Like he's putting all these expectations on himself and if he just existed and let things be, he'd be fine, you know?
yeah.
But yeah, he's just really unsure of himself and I mean I think the conversation with the mom went well. Her mom was like, he's a man. That's a
When
man.
she
That's a
saw him
handsome
walking
man.
up, she was like,
Clutch my pearls.
she was, she was about to pull a Sarah Ann.
Literally, literally, she did a double take. She's like, "Oh, he's handsome." But with AD and Clay, AD did mention, again the like, "Oh, I did this like cool, cute thing for him, but he hasn't been home to see it." So I we
Oh
understand a little
yeah.
bit more about what Clay does. He said he does Airbnb and he like essentially like hosts of I guess activities for people. So like jet skis, water sports and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So kind of mentioned it, didn't really bring it up a whole lot, but I think there is still this disconnect that she doesn't like his schedule.
Yeah. Which, maybe they'll figure it out.
Yeah, who
We know,
knows?
we know that they at least go down the aisle because we
Yeah.
saw the clip.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, we saw them standing there together. But yeah, essentially, Clay, I think they were at the apartment and they were just talking. And Clay pretty much said, like, yeah, I'm not sure if I'll say yes. Something to that effect. And AD was essentially like, well, if you don't say yes, I'm not sure that I can, like, continue with you. She's like,
Yeah.
I respect if you say no at the altar, but that doesn't mean that you will still have me, pretty much.
Which,
So
yeah, I don't think they're gonna work, which is
I don't
sad.
think so.
Because I've
Yeah.
been saying, I'm like, I want them to just date because I feel like they could be something, but I don't think they need to jump into marriage.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What did you think of AD trying on dresses?
Oh, she looks great, but I under so Brendan kind of like told me about this before it happened, before I watched it. But when I watched it, I get what you were saying about her crying. Like she was just standing there sobbing in the first dress, and I was like, AD, I've never seen her that emotional, so it kind of just took me off, it caught me off guard a little bit. Like,
Love is
girl.
Blind loves to keep a moment going, whether it's Kenneth and Brittany's silence on the boat, any type of silence with anyone. They could have
Literally,
literally cut 80 crying like in half and
they
not
showed
to,
a whole two
but it
minutes
was
of
like
it.
2 minutes of her like, ah, ah, ah. And like it's nice, but it's just it was just long.
Like,
But then
sis,
I did appreciate
oh.
how she's like, although I'm emotional, I want to have my moment, so I'm trying on another dress. And I was like, go off.
And then she didn't cry over the second one as much. I think that just the reality of it all hit her. I get it. It's an emotional experience,
I get
but
it.
us sitting back and watching, we're just like, oh God. That's a lot of tears.
Did you like the first or the second dress better?
Um
She looked good
Honestly,
in
I didn't
both.
really like either of them. She has a really nice figure, and I thought the slit was cute, but it wasn't like, sexy enough. I could see
Yeah.
her in just like a really beautiful, sexy dress. The slit in the second one was cute, but I felt like I could see her in something more like bodycon, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe even like some sleeves that are transparent. I did think the Till Death Do Us part was cute, and the joke she made was funny about it,
I
but
thought it
yeah,
was
that's what
funny
I
when she
thought.
was like, "Till death do us part." That was funny. But I hate words on a veil. I don't know
Yeah?
why. I'm just like, why do I have to read?
Well, what do you think of the dresses?
The dresses, I liked both. She looked good in both.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I kind of liked, even though it was really simple. I thought it
Yeah.
was like simple and kind of sleek and like
Mm-hmm.
it was nice. The second one was nice, but I just feel like it was like those kind of corset like dresses we see everywhere. So I
Yeah.
was just like, I don't know. They both
Yeah.
were nice, but I agree. I think there could have been a third one.
Yeah. And I think I was wondering, like, I wonder if they have time to like order another one, or like this is not a traditional situation where you're going into you can like order a dress, let it come in. Like I literally think they have to pick out of what is available here, because I think at this point they're getting married in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
pissed. I'm like, are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
honestly. Yeah. I think some people will end up just having a second wedding, because the production wedding, you can only bring so many people, you can only do so much.
True.
So, but
That
yeah,
makes
that
sense.
was that was AD and Clay. So, Brandon, you think like okay, do you think AD and Clay will say yes? Do you think one will say yes, one will say no? What do you think? Both
I
will say no,
think I think one will say no.
and that one is
I think it might. Hmm. That's a good question because it's leaning towards Clay, but I'm all
hmm
for a plot twist.
plot
So,
twist.
what if AD finds out, like she's in the moment, and she
Yeah.
thought this is all she ever wanted was to have this
Yeah.
moment with the man she loves, and then everything just plays back of her and Clay's relationship, and she looks at him down the aisle, and she just realizes this isn't the moment, and she says no. I would
It's
live.
possible. It's possible. Her actions aren't aligning with that,
They're
but
not. That's
it's
why I plot
possible.
twist. That's why I said plot twist.
I think Clay is gonna say no. Clay has literally vocalized that he's gonna say
I
no.
just don't think they got married. It's just I'm not getting that vibe.
Yeah, I don't think they did either, because I've noticed like a couple things on the social media, like people are like basically talking bad about Clay, and 80 will like it. So I don't think they're together right now. But yeah, either they both say yes, or she says yes and he says no. That's what I'm betting on.
Yes, I will agree with that. And if they both said yes, I will assume they're divorced by now.
Yes, that's true too. Love is Blind is messy though. They basically the decision is happening at the moment you're saying I do. And
Yeah.
I've noticed that people they'll either like ask the person who like the priest will ask someone first. And sometimes they ask the guy first, sometimes they ask the girl first, but they usually the order of asking is like specific.
Dependent on who
So
they think might say no.
yeah, like there was one year this girl just ripped into this man. He's like, I do. And she's like, I don't. I choose myself and I don't like you. And she just like went off. And it was like, uh,
Damn.
okay. I can't remember her name right now. Oh, Zeneb. That girl is crazy. I hate calling women crazy, but Zeneb was tripping. Anyway, maybe we can do like a rewatch because I would really love actually to
Thank
like go
you.
through previous seasons since this was your first time. But yeah, they're kind of messy in the order that they ask, so we'll see what happens with AD and Clay.
Yes, we will. But that leaves us with just one couple, the infamous
Doesn't it?
couple. Yeah, because it was just,
Oh
and
wow, it's
they're
just yeah.
dwindling. They're
They're
dwindling.
dwindling. Our numbers
Since
are
we got
our
rid of
num
Kenneth and Brittany, we're done.
yeah.
Um, briefly though. Well, I
Hmm.
guess we could mention that now. I'm dumb. Ignore me. I was going to mention Jessica, but we're literally talking about Jimmy and Chelsea, so we
Oh
will
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about Jessica.
Yeah, let's talk about Jimmy and Chelsea.
Um,
So
their drama happens before the barbecue, right?
they're yeah, so Um, Jimmy gets to have Chelsea meet his family. So she meets his mom, his dad, and I think his sister. I want to say there's three people.
I think
Aunt,
so.
I don't know. There was another woman there. I don't know who she is. But his parents are adorable.
They
They
are.
love Chelsea.
It went well.
It went really well. And like his mom was just like, I can tell that you love him and we just want him to be happy and we just love Jimmy. And I think they're literally the cutest. They're so cute. And it's funny because it made me think back to the pods and how Jimmy was like, I want someone who can like accept my upbringing and my family. And I guess that he wasn't very well off. And I was like, you even need to say all that. Your house is full of love. Like,
Right?
I don't know what else there is to say. Your parents love you. They're happy people. Like,
They seem nice.
they seem so nice. So they have this amazing day, and Chelsea, in her classic Chelsea self, ruins it. They go home. I guess they have a couple of drinks, and Chelsea and Jimmy is like, the parent meeting went so great. My family loves you so much. It's amazing. And then Chelsea gets mad at him. I actually don't even remember why.
It's because he went out like the night before to celebrate a
Oh,
friend's birthday and she was left home
okay.
alone. And then girls
Yes.
from the pods, I guess, were there and were just like, oh, where are you? Your man's out. And
Hmm.
she felt embarrassed.
So Jimmy has had eight, he was with eight fraternity brothers and two of their girlfriends. And he went out for an hour and a half, and Chelsea was pissed.
Hmm.
And she's basically saying, like, you told me you don't like to go out. So why'd you go out? And why were you out for so long? And he was literally like, girl,
It
I was
was an
gone for an hour
hour.
and a half. I don't know. And then she's like, well, people saw you. And he was like, I didn't see them. I don't know those people. And she's like, well, I just feel like you weren't honest and you like to go out. And I just don't like a man who's like that. And I was literally sitting, no, standing at my phone, like, oh my gosh, I hate this girl so much.
Well, it was like,
Chelsea.
here's the thing, Chelsea always loses me because initially when she was like, you didn't invite me or you left me alone. And then he was like, I did
Mhm.
invite you. And then he was like, the way he asked was like, I know you don't want to come, but like you could come if you want. I could see being a little annoyed in the moment and being like, okay, well, you gave me like a throwaway invite and now
Yeah.
I'm here, da 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 da.
But she didn't
But
want to
he
go.
didn't. And the fact that he came back an hour and a half later, you get over it. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Literally.
You can be a little annoyed. Like, of course, we're
Yeah.
annoyed by nature. We
Yeah.
know about being annoyed and just
Yeah.
like
We get
letting
it.
things
We get
bother
it.
us. We
Yeah, you wanted your
understand.
man home with you. We get it. But he went out
Yes.
for an hour and a half. And then she just, but see, I'm glad that you mentioned this. With Chelsea, if it's not one thing, it's 10 things. So you didn't invite me. Yes, I did. You were gone for a long time. I was only gone for an hour and a half. Well, you were with other people. Like, something has to be wrong. She's literally, like he said, she was fishing for something to be wrong, and nothing was wrong. You're overreacting, girl. You're literally tripping.
She
You're acting,
was.
I'm sorry, clingy and crazy.
Oh,
The
not the two C's.
two
Clinging
Z's.
crazy. No.
She was
But she
literally
was.
tripping. Oh my
Because
gosh.
then she's like, okay, let me get the rod that will catch the fish that's actually upsetting me. And she
Hmm.
brings up his close girlfriends.
Yeah.
And like, who do you text every day, all the time? When you're not with
And
me,
who do you
where
hang
are
out
you?
with all the time?
Yes. And then that's when he mentions the girlfriends. And then he's just like, you never told me you wanted me to like take a step back. And she was
Yeah.
like, well, yes, I did. I said it made me uncomfortable. And he's like, but you never told me to take a step back. And that's where I'm also like, okay, Jimmy, her saying she's uncomfortable is her like, she's
Yeah.
basically saying it. You should take the initiative. But regardless, let's play
Regardless.
this game. And then so they're going back and forth. And he's like, tell me you want me to take a step back. And she's like, I want you to take a step back. And he's like, well, I'm not going to.
I don't agree. I
And
don't
I'm
agree.
like,
And he walks away. And I was like, what? Jimmy, what was that? Well,
Jimmy's a
I'm
little
never
sassy.
a little. I was like, Jimmy, literally, why did you baited her to tell you just to say no?
Well, I'm
Th-
not.
This is like the petty Olympics. Like they're going back and forth. And then he's like, well, I'm not going to, and he goes into the other room. He goes into the bathroom and I think he says he's leaving or something, but essentially he was like, I didn't know that you had a problem with my friends. You know, they're my close friends. You met them. And he was like, and she was like, well, I just like have an issue with maybe how close you guys are. Something to this effect is what the conversation is. And he was like, but like, we're just friends. And she was like, no, you fucked her. I know you fucked her. And I was like,
And yeah, because he was like,
Chelsea.
I think he tried to say something like it never crossed the lines, like we're just friends, we never done
Oh,
anything.
yeah,
And
that's
then
what he
that's when
said.
she's like, no, but you did. And he's like, I told you that
The
off
phoenix
camera.
came out of her. Ugh,
Not your mic
girl.
cutting off. It was too high pitched, the Phoenix noise. Your mic was like, no. That's funny.
She was, but yeah, so yeah, I think that's messed up what she said. What do you think?
You know, it's complicated
It
because
is.
because he did tell her off camera,
Yeah.
but he did have
And
them meet on camera.
yeah.
She didn't say which friend though, and we had suspected the one with darker hair. I
Yeah,
still
we
do.
suspected the other girl.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if that ever
Yeah, so
comes
the
to
whole thing
like
is messy. Yeah, yeah.
my thing is I understand her being uncomfortable with that,
Yeah.
all that. But because, like what we've been saying, she fishes and brings up 87 other things,
Things.
it
Mm-hmm.
gets lost, and then it ends up being
Mm-hmm.
like no one cares because
Mm-hmm.
eventually get away from that topic, and she's like, "Were you with Jessica last night?" Like she
Mm-hmm.
randomly like brings up Jessica, and he's like, "I don't even think Jessica was there." Like, what do you mean?
Jimmy, I felt like in that moment, Jimmy was just so embarrassed for her because he's like, are you really bringing up Jessica? Like, right at this moment? And so, yeah, I agree with you. I think in Chelsea's mind, she's essentially like maybe feeling a little anxious. Like, is he spending time with other girls when I'm not around? And
Hmm.
that's the bottom line. But instead of just outright just saying and trusting that he wasn't, she goes fishing for something and then they have an argument about all of this other stuff. And yeah, I mean, like other stuff that she's worried about, but it's like that's literally not the conversation right now. The main point of the conversation that you brought up is that he went out and you don't like guys who go out, which I also think is crazy and controlling. Like, girl, you don't
It
want him to go
is.
out. It was
And
the birthday
she's
party
like,
or
"You
something,
lied to
right?
me in the pods." And he's
Yeah.
just like, "It was literally a birthday thing, and it was like an hour
Yeah.
and a half. That's hardly going out."
Yeah. It's
Like
hardly going out.
it's not. But like he ends up,
Mm-hmm.
didn't he like leave? He's like, "I'm not staying here tonight."
Yeah, I think she realized so one progress report for Chelsea is she does realize she's wrong in this moment. She goes up to him. She's like, "Please don't leave. Please don't leave." And I guess he leaves for the night. And they have some time apart, and she just sits on the couch and cries. And I'm like, literally, girl, you did this to yourself. But again, it's just all of her insecurities just coming out. She's insecure about Jessica. She's insecure about the friends. Honestly, her feelings are valid. Jessica is beautiful. That might make me feel some type of way. You introduced me to a woman you slept with who is your best friend
That you text all the time?
that you text all the time and brought on camera. That's suspect.
It is.
Like her feelings are valid, just how she articulates them isn't. And I also just think that like Jimmy is literally showing you by meeting his parents, you guys had a great day. Like this could have been a time for you guys to come together and then you pick a fight. Like I feel like the personal battle with insecurities has to be sometimes fought by yourself. Someone's not always going to be able to affirm all of your fears. Like, you should be able to sit down and tell yourself, like, okay, well, I do feel a little insecure about this, but I just met his family. He's showing me all of these things. Like, I'm not going to let that fear win today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you just have to trust your man at the end of the day. But she
Yeah.
picked a fight.
And she's a very annoying arguer.
She really is.
Like it's
If
not
it's not
even
one
like,
thing, it's 10 things.
and she does like that almost like baby voice, kind
Oh
of.
gosh. Yeah, she's always on the verge of tears too, which is annoying.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
girl,
like, this isn't
please.
even interesting to watch. I can't.
No, for real. Like, I get it. You want him to care, so you want to cry so that he can care for you. But it's also like, be an adult, sit down, relax, and have a conversation without screaming and crying and running away. And it's like I feel like she egged him on. I don't think either of them were right in this situation, but I think it's just another example of her just being very insecure.
I agree. And I will say, she's been showing up on my TikTok, and I think it
Oh, really?
appears she's mentioned doing a lot of self-work, and it's been like a
Good.
year. So I'm like, you know
Good.
what, Chelsea? Good for you. I guess we'll
Yeah.
see for real on the reunion.
Yeah, we will. We will. I
But
mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person that's like, hey, girl, come on. Come
you're
on,
like,
Chelsea. You don't look
I
so
think
great
she's
right
even a
here.
little watching. She's like, I get it. Like, like, ooh.
I don't care if you were drunk, girl. I really don't. Blame the
Yeah.
alcohol or you were like this with and without alcohol. Something about this conversation though was essentially like when Jimmy is now mad because she pushed him there and basically said that she felt like I guess the end of the conversation came down to like she feels like he doesn't love her. He was really mad at that. Like he was like, I've literally done everything and to show you that I love you. And she's like, well, don't in pure Kenneth fashion, don't let this one time, make you change your feelings about me. I think this is when they were debriefing, right?
Probably, because what was
Yeah.
it? The next day they meet and
Yeah.
like he's essentially breaking up with her the next day. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
to be with you. But
Yeah. You
then
don't.
she like pleads her case. She
Yeah.
cries.
She's like, don't let this one time be the reason. And I was like, Jenny, it's not the first time. It's not the first time she's done this. It's
It's
not.
not.
It's like the fourth time. You know what I mean? Like this is not the first time you guys have had an argument like this, but I guess it's the first time that she has basically said like I don't feel like you love me.
Yeah.
But I was
I
like,
think
Jimmy, she showed you this before.
right. And I was like, is Jimmy gonna stay strong? And he doesn't. He ends up taking her back, which,
He does.
whatever. It seems from this point forward, she's being a bit more self-reflective.
Yeah.
So maybe it took that argument for her to really see her position and all
Yeah.
of that. So I guess,
Yeah.
but they don't need to be getting married, is the thing. So I'm
You don't
like,
think so?
do you?
Okay. Let's go through it and then I'll explain. But they have this conversation. They make up. I know I'm such a hypocrite. You're probably not the only person like, wait, are
What
we
are you
hearing this right?
talking about?
So they go to the party. And Jimmy meets Jessica
Mm-hmm.
and Chelsea meets Trevor. So they both have
Yes.
separate conversations. How did you feel like the conversation with Jessica went?
I thought it was good. It was a touch too flirty in certain moments for my liking,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it crossed the line. I'm willing
Yeah.
to say maybe it was a little editing that
Yeah.
added to it. And I did like that Jessica told him, like, don't break her heart.
Yeah.
Like, don't
Yeah.
hurt her. I was like, that's good that you're looking out for her. I think her and Chelsea are actually like decent friends.
Yeah, like I love this. I was like, please, Sarah Ann, take a page out of Jessica's book. You
Take a
can
note.
literally take a note, get a pen. Like I just appreciated that she respected their relationship. She wasn't trying to be messy. They had like some closure. I get the flirtiness, but they also did date, you know?
Yeah, and it was kind of like it's the
So,
first time seeing each other. Like, all right, you
yeah.
can be a little
Yeah.
flirty, like whatever. It didn't
Yeah.
really cross a line, in my opinion. So it's like it's
Right.
fine.
And they talked for a couple minutes, Jeremy, which is really all you need to talk and,
Right?
tie up loose ends and catch up with this person. And then Trevor has the same conversation or a similar conversation with Chelsea. Oh, wait, did you want to say something else about Jessica?
Did I? Yes. Oh, yes, because Jessica was on the Vile Files. And I didn't watch the full
Really?
thing, but she had,
What?
yeah, I like, she was on two episodes. I think they had like two parts, but they weren't very long each part.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a clip and I think, what was it? Nick was trying to like be messy and be like, did you know you were competing with Megan Fox? And she was just like, she said
Oh.
something very nice about Chelsea and was just like, oh no, we actually were close throughout it. And like, da da
Aw.
da da da. And then there was another part where she took up for Chelsea and being like, me and Jimmy would have never worked out because of the whole close girlfriends thing. And Nick was
Ah.
trying to be like, but he was honest. And she's like, yeah, but if it makes me uncomfortable and you're not willing to change,
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah.
just not going to work. And I
Yeah.
appreciated that despite whatever, she was kind of, she's continued to have Chelsea's back. I really
Yeah.
like Jessica.
Jessica's a gem, man. She's
She is.
awesome. She's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate I just appreciate like the respectfulness between both people. Like,
Hmm.
I think it was fine.
Trevor annoyed the shit out of me.
I don't think Trevor is attractive at all. Sorry. He cut his mullet and I was just looking at him and she's like, this is the guy. She's like, you're my type. And I was like, but why? I'm
The
sorry. I don't
mullet,
think he's
the mullet was the selling point, and then he cut it off, and it was like, oh no.
I wonder why he did that too.
I don't understand either, but he's just
Uh,
like that guy that's always joking. He's just like, oh, I'm talking to your fiance. And just like
yeah.
all this. And I'm just like, okay, none of this
Literally
rings
no one
true,
cares.
especially because we know you have a girlfriend and you had a
Yeah.
girlfriend the whole time. So I'm just listening to
Yeah.
you and I'm just like, you can like go to hell. Like, I hate you.
I
Uh,
was looking thinking that too. You're over here talking to Chelsea. Don't act like you were here to find love. You just wanted to be on TV for some reason, and we'll see what that does for your
that's why
career, I
Jeremy was
guess.
so excited to see you because fake recognizes fake. And y'all both fake. Y'all are a terrible duo.
Literally.
Awful.
Yeah, I mean I thought that Trevor was a cool person, but all this stuff that's coming out about him is meh. And I don't think he's that attractive. But he had a close some closure with Chelsea. They had a conversation, but
They
Chelsea was
did.
like, you are typically my type, but I really he was and he asked her like had I told you I loved you first, would it have mattered? She said no, I really wanted to be with Jimmy.
Also, sir,
So
why are you asking this when you have a girlfriend?
literally, he just
I
wants to
hate
create a
him.
narrative. He just wants to be a part of the storyline.
He does.
I just really like people and I just want to make a cake and for us all to be together.
Doesn't even go here. Oh,
I was like, please get my reference.
I get it, Maggie.
You understand me, Brandon.
I do.
We
Millennial
understand each
heart.
other.
I don't do the
Yes,
Gen Z
millennial.
one. Oh my God, Zoom is doing the hearts.
I didn't know that he did that. That's
Zoom is very
cool.
selective when it does its like emoji thing like
Wow,
that.
that was cool. That was really
Sometimes
cool.
they'll
That
do a
was
thumbs up
beautiful.
if you do one, but not always.
That's
Um,
magical.
and that's magical.
Yeah, so like so we have all these conversations. She goes to try on her dress. I like the dress fitting. Her family was there. She was really happy. And then they go to the theme park and we leave on this cliffhanger because this show is messy. And so they're like, he was like, "What will you say?" You know, and that's where they end. I don't know. I think they just chose to end it because there's nothing else to do. They're going down the aisle, we know it. But when
Yeah.
they were at the theme park hanging out and stuff, I was like, maybe Jimmy is her person. Like, because okay, hear
They
me out,
did
hear me
have
out.
more of a connection at the theme park than ever before.
Yeah,
I
and I
did
actually
notice that.
And I think that their fight, like you said, was I think it kind of was a breakthrough because look, we I know Chelsea is insecure, like how she handles herself, it doesn't really take a whole lot of personal accountability. But I think maybe her being wrong in that moment kind of showed her like maybe I am tripping, like maybe I need to just accept him as he is kind of thing.
Hmm.
And I was like, maybe Jimmy is the guy to kind of help her work through her issues because we all need that person. Like, you're never going to go into a relationship 100% perfect. So maybe Jimmy is that guy to level her out and give her that reassurance she needs that, somebody does love me and does want to take care of me, you know? And so
Maybe.
maybe that's her maybe they're each other's person. But I would need to see sis in therapy. Like
Hmm.
we would need to see it because Jimmy can't be like you're insecure and I think you need to work on it. He's not gonna articulate it. I don't even think he realizes she's insecure.
Yeah, I think Jimmy, he's not the best communicator in general, so
Yeah.
he won't.
Yeah. She needs someone to help her work through it.
It's funny because although I do think I saw more of connection at the theme park, it does
Hmm.
have that cliffhanger where he's like, I'll say yes, would you say yes? And she's not sure, which could
Doesn't make
be
any
editing, who
sense.
knows? But I
Yeah.
wonder, upon further speculation, if in that moment, you know, she did have the breakthrough with the fight, she was
Hmm.
self-reflective, they're moving forward, but maybe she kind of realizes that she has a lot she needs to unpack before she can fully commit to someone. And
Yeah.
maybe also in that moment, she realizes that Jimmy's not who she wants or needs. And
Mm.
before, like I said, she was kind of vying for his affection and vying for his approval because she could sense he didn't like her and kind of
Yeah.
regretted his choice.
Yeah.
And now, when she's kind of gotten it, she realizes, well, I never wanted you, I guess, to begin with. Like, because I don't think their
Mm.
communication styles are the same. And I don't think he provides her the validation she needs.
Are you serious? The validation?
I think he says validation, but I don't think he has the feeling behind it.
Mm,
You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know.
It's he
I get what you're
says it,
saying.
but it's how he says it. But again, to your point, I don't think that's
Yeah.
bad on him. I think it's just a difference of personality.
Yeah, I think that that's low key how he is. And if she can accept him how he is, and if she can acknowledge that she does like kind of have some things to work through about insecurities, they could work. Because I think he genuinely actually does love her. He saw Jessica, hung out with Jessica, wasn't messy with Jessica. He could have been just like Jeremy.
He
You know
could
what I
have.
mean? And he wasn't. And that's actually something you see a lot. Like he's like, yeah,
Hmm.
I'm physically attracted to her, but it didn't sway him. It literally went nothing further. And I don't blame him for saying that she was attractive. If he said he wasn't attractive, we'd be like, you're full of shit.
You're lying. But there
You
was that
know?
moment we forgot about at the barbecue where she said to him, like, oh, Johnny and Amy, they're the best couple. And he's like, why would you say that? Like, we're the best couple.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a moment of her being realistic. She's like, I mean, I'm just
No,
being
it was.
honest. Like, let's be
I think
real.
she was. I think she was because it's like Jimmy, you can't just ignore. I think what Jimmy because all Jimmy says is like, I just want to know that she loves me. If I know she loves me, I'm good. And so
Hmm.
I think to him, he's like saying another couple is better is not very reassuring that you're in it with me and we're gonna go through it together. But I think what Chelsea is acknowledging is they fight pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And Johnny and Amy literally are picking flowers and
They're
roses
literally
together.
skipping in the meadows. Her wedding dress is literal like leaves,
I didn't
berries.
like her dress.
No, not at all. But it was
Okay,
very, I'm
okay.
not
We
surprised
didn't
she
talk about
picked
that
it.
one.
I was very
Yeah.
much, when she picked it, I was like, that's the dress I thought you would have.
I didn't think that at all. I think Amy is beautiful. I don't know why she picked that
She is,
ugly
but her
dress.
style's atrocious.
Ah,
It's just
it's so
very,
funny. It's like I only notice it at times.
but she's
She
very
kind of
pretty.
dresses like a middle-aged woman a little bit.
Little. But yes, they're like very like they're like, like the best couple, like the
They
Brady
are.
Bunch pretty much compared
They
to
literally
fucking
are.
like Chelsea and Jimmy are like fucking what's the show? Jerry Springer, and they're
Low
just like the
key.
Brady Bunch. Like, come on, let's. And I like that Chelsea was kind of real in that moment, but that
Yeah,
adds to
me
what I
too.
said the last episode with Jimmy.
Yeah.
He wants to put off the persona that he's better than all the other couples. Like, I said, I love you way more than the other couples. We're amazing.
Yeah.
We're perfect. And it's just like that's just not real. And I think one thing, despite Chelsea's flaws, she likes to talk out issues and get to the root of it and really say what's on her mind and work through things. Where I think Jimmy,
Does she?
well,
Go
I
ahead. I'll
mean,
let
I'm
you
not I'm
finish.
not saying in a
I'll
good
let you
way.
finish. I'll
I'm
let you
not
finish.
to a
Go ahead.
fault. But I feel like with Jimmy, he kind of likes to sweep things under the rug and not really get too deep. When has he gotten deep?
And I was like, I mean, like, has there really been a deep issue for them to go through? I think the friend that he slept with is a deep issue to go through, but she didn't sit down and just talk to him. I think she just wanted to sit down and talk to him about that. She didn't. So
Yeah,
we've literally just seen him like try to talk through her like brain creating all of these scenarios and her
yeah.
being insecure. So I
They're
don't
just
think
on
it's
opposite sides
fair.
of the spectrum when it comes to it. She's oversharing her emotions and her feelings
Yeah.
and issues, and he's just not at all.
Yeah.
So there needs
Yeah,
to be
that's
middle
true.
ground. You know what I
That's
mean?
true. That's true. I think that he could have I mean, he kind of did though. We did kind of he kind of
Yeah.
got to this moment where he's like, I don't know if this is for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm done. And she's like, done.
What do you mean? I almost
Done with
took this
what?
off my finger, and I was like, you should have.
I was like, girl, don't even lie to him. You know you were hanging on to your ring for dear
Right? Like,
life.
come on, Chelsea.
Don't even trip.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I actually wouldn't be surprised if at this point, even given all the hell she's given him, if she says no.
You think she's gonna say no?
I think she might. Because I think
No way.
she just like is, I think she has some self-discovery and I think she realizes she can't do that with him. And I think she's realizing that maybe they're not like, I just don't think they're able to provide each other with what they actually need. And I think
Yeah.
he's willing to accept that. And I don't think she will. Neither right or wrong, but I think
Yeah.
she will like be like, I
I don't
don't think
know.
I'm not willing to overlook these things because clearly there's issues.
It doesn't track. If anybody is saying I'm not willing to overlook these issues, it should be Jimmy.
It should
Because,
be, but the moment he did, he easily was like, well, never mind. We can get back together.
yeah, I did actually think the way that argument ended was weird because he kind of doubled down. I think yeah, I mean, and maybe we didn't see the whole thing, but it doesn't look like they got to a resolution. But for her to say no, I would be very surprised because all she's done all this time is fought for Jimmy's love and affection. So I really can't see her saying no. I could see him saying no, but I have a feeling they're both gonna say yes and break up later.
One of my resolutions this year was 2020 for the plot. And I think these plot twists of Chelsea and AD saying no would be
Are gonna
following
happen.
those resolutions
We'll have to
for
see,
the
Brandon.
plot, for the plot.
We should watch this together next week. It'll be fun.
We
It would be
should.
fun.
That would
But
be fun, I
like
guess. No, it would.
I guess if we hang out. Comes out on Wednesday. But
Is it
yeah, I
Wednesday
don't
or
know.
Thursday? No, Traders is Thursday.
Yeah, this is on Wednesday. So we'll
When you
see.
catch up, you got to catch up on Traders because we got to talk about Traders.
Yeah, I know I'm not done yet. I'm on the episode where Phaedra has like hit Trishel's glass thing
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're like about to go into deliberation and CT is now a little suspect of her. That's where I stopped.
You should catch up because this week's the finale.
Oh, bet.
And
Okay,
then
we
Love
might
is
be able to talk.
Blind is the wedding. So
Yeah.
we could be able to talk about both.
But I'm actually excited for the wedding days. We'll see. Love is Blind. In past seasons, these wedding days have been quite the event. So I'm excited. Their very first season, one girl fled the fled from the altar and like fell outside. So, I mean, they didn't really preview any of these dramatics, so maybe it's a normal day, but we'll see. We'll see.
They didn't. And even the preview for next week, it really just showed like Amy and AD. Because I
Yeah.
think they were trying to see, because Chelsea was the cliffhanger. So they're like, we
Yeah.
don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm
We'll see
excited.
what happens. Yeah, I'm excited too. So we'll see about Love is Blind.
With that being said, I think that's it for today's episode.
That's it for today. We'll be back next week.
Yes, we will. Thank y'all so much for listening. Make sure to rate and review us. Give us 5 stars. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube at the
We're on
shade of it
YouTube.
all.
All of it. Find us,
Yes.
like it, share it
TikTok,
with your
Instagram, Shade
friends.
of It All Podcast. You'll find
Yes.
us. You'll love
Find
us.
us.
Please
Love
subscribe.
us. Comment. We'll reply.
We will. But with that being said, thank y'all so much, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.